Fair or not. And here's where it boils down to guys in particular, fathers in particular. Fair or not, God gave the male the greatest responsibility for keeping his covenant and preserving the covenant of the family. That falls on our shoulders as men. That falls on our shoulders. God gave us that responsibility as men. Yet some of the men of the kingdom, individuals that God has appointed to provide for and to protect the family, they've become their family's most feared predator in many cases. They've become their own family's most feared abuser. And that shouldn't be. Fathers should set the example. Not being an abuser. Not to be feared. Listen, respect is one thing. Fear is something altogether different. I never had to fear my dad. Never. I respected him. I never had to worry about Dad coming home and getting drunk and beating on Mom or beating on us. Never had to worry about that. Dad never come home, never cursed at us, never cursed at Mama. You heard me say it before. I said it again. I was 50. How old was I when Dad died? I was 50 years old, right? How long Dad been? He died in 06, July of 06. That's been how many years now? 12 years. So I was 50 years old. And all my 50 years of knowing him, I never heard my dad ever. And people think I'm exaggerating. I promise you I am not. He was a far better man than I am. If I could only be half the man that he was. But I never heard Dad never use even a slang word. Never. You want to know the strongest language my dad ever used? If he ever said, "Shaw." Shaw is the strongest language he ever used. If he ever said, "Shaw," oh, he was upset then. I mean, that was his being bent out of shape. Was when he said, "Shaw." He was really bent out of shape. That's the strongest word he ever used in all of my 50 years of knowing him. And he set a great example for self-control. Nothing ever upset him. Nothing ever got him I never saw him in a rage. Now, if it happened before I ever was old enough to see it. I've never seen Dad in a rage. Never seen him, go through the house and breaking things or slamming things or never. He was just cool and calm and collected, and nothing ever got him bent out of shape to that degree. And he was respected, but it wasn't feared. I didn't have to, if Dad had raised his hand and scratched his head, I didn't have to do like this because I thought he was fixing to didn't have to do that, I knew he would whip me if he needed to, or felt like he needed to. But I didn't have a fear of him. I had a respect for him. God's word says, we read in Galatians here, do not be deceived. God's not mocked. Whatever a man sows, whatever a dad sows, that he will also reap. The men of Sodom, they had stopped being men. Listen, we are living in a society now. Men need to teach their boys to be men. They need to teach them how to become men. They need to instruct them. They need to disciple them. They need to show them what a man really looks like. And what a man really is. And what a man really does. Now, I know men are different. We have our different personalities. But basically, being a man is something we can hand down to our boys. And we need to do that. We need to make every effort to make sure our children know that we are men of God. They see us as the example of being a man of God. Again, doesn't make us perfect, but we can be a good example.